Oh, I think we're live.
And you think you have the sound on?
I think I do. I think I do. I'm looking at all the places. I think I see sound everywhere. It's supposed to
Yay.
be.
You know, everybody, you guys don't see things in the background when we're waiting to turn, to pull the curtains back. I, Stephanie and I are really just trying to entertain each other when that happens and our mics are off. But Stephanie has toys, and I feel pressured now that I need to have toys. Like, yeah, like to play with and like dance. And like that's great and that's cute and I love her. But like yeah, like I don't have like plastic boyfriends.
Oh,
Like
he's not plastic. He is porcelain. But his little foods are plastic. I can tell you. Hey Jan, I can tell you that this is a Jello mold that has a stapler in it. It's
I
Mary
thought
Todd.
you were gonna say that's a Jello mold from the 1980s.
No, it's a current Jello mold, but it's got Mary Todd stapler in it. So
Yeah. I really kind of feel left out and like
well,
I need you
you're gonna
guys. So I'm gonna have to
you have to get yourself a dead president.
what a weird sentence. Yeah, I mean, I have a chair that he could sit on.
Oh, that chair's much too small. His chair is this big. This chair is the perfect size for him. I stole it from my mother. You see, I was working on a little cushion for him. I haven't finished it yet. So
Whatever. Whatever. So,
you're just jealous because you don't
anywho.
have a dead president.
Yeah, apparently. You didn't make me one.
So we every week we have all of these announcements, but now we've done all the things.
Well,
What do we have? We have something to announce.
that's not entirely true. So well, actually, hold on one second, because there's one thing, like always, that I forgot to pull up. Is that the right? Okay, no. This one is. Let me pull that. Okay, and there's really loud people outside my house right now.
I can't hear him.
Okay, good, because they're really loud. Okay, so
The old
we,
calendar.
yeah, we have done quite a lot here. So we're here on the 15th. We've had a whirlwind couple of weeks, which I don't know about you, Steph, but on Sunday, I just sat all day and stared ahead.
Well, you got into town later than I did. You got back home later than I did. I did have a few days. So by Sunday, I was just doing my normal laziness, not my like I've been on too many trips laziness. But yeah, it was a whirlwind. We were in 3 different states, and
I'm sorry, you were in 3 different states. I went through like 7.
well, but I mean, we spent time in 3 different states.
That's
We
true.
slept overnight in 3 different states, at least. So,
I still slept in more, but yes.
well, yes, this is true. But together, we slept in 3 different states.
So we're sitting here on the 15th. So you're going to get the first assignment for Portable Patchwork tonight. We're going to do our first discussion of it next week on the 22nd. And then we're sadly going to have to take a night off from it on the 29th because Stephanie has to go out of town again. I mean, to fun things, and hopefully she'll have, like photos and stuff to show us when she gets back and stories.
I will.
But yeah, that is the bulk of the announcementness here. Because things won't be as crazy as, and,
Robin agrees. You need to step up your toy game.
right? I really, really do.
Well, I mean, you've got toy sewing machines. Don't you have some baby or doll quilts?
Do you want to watch a toy sewing machine dance while
Well,
we're in the back? Like, hello. This is like the pre-stream behind the scenes dancing things.
It would
That's what
amuse
we're...
me. I'm just saying, it would amuse me.
Next time I'm gonna get like a Freddy Krueger in my Oscar or something.
Okay.
So next here on the announcement is you need to roll some dice
I do. I was just
because
pulling that
we have
up.
some things here that we have to give away to the
Yeah.
people that signed up on the 2 giveaways. We've got this first giveaway here and then this second giveaway here because we brought back all kinds of treats and things from our time at IQM with AQSG and all the letters.
AQSG, IQM, IQM.
So
we don't have our Iowa Quilt Museum things in there. This is all just International Quilt Museum, right?
Yeah, that there will be a future giveaway that has some Iowa Quilt Museum things in it. So I'm assuming you have your list of names there and your dicey do.
I do. Let's see.
Do you want to give a roly doly doodah there? And
I just did.
I probably wouldn't say last names, maybe last initials.
Marianne S. You are a winner, baby.
Marianne S. And when you were collecting people's things, you got their email and stuff, right?
I do. I have emails, so I will be in touch.
Yeah, because Jill's the one shipping over here, and I'm gonna need your address in order to do that. But yay to Marianne! So you got this first bit of doodads here, which like this box right here, those are playing cards from the IQM, and each card has a different quilt on it. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
And I know you looked at your set, but what you may not have noticed, and maybe you did, but remember the quilt, the really beautiful Star Bethlehem quilt that was at the Iowa Quilt Museum? The very traditional.
Oh yeah, it was in there. Yeah, I saw it.
It's in that deck, yes. And from what I understand, it's a faithful reproduction. I pulled up my picture and I was looking at the playing card, and looks like she chose like black striped fabric for certain parts of it. Like it looks like she chose the exact same fabrics. It's amazing to me. I mean, what craftsmanship. So I just had to mention that.
I do remember. And then we've got our second giveaway. All right, here.
Second place. Let's see.
Okay.
I am doing this with a many-sided dice that we have. I may have to roll again because Jill M.
I was gonna say it's not me.
Not you. There's another Jill.
No, there's another Jill.
Congratulations, Marianne and Jill.
Woohoo!
Yay!
I like sending out stuff. Make sure that you like reply when you get Steph's email like sooner rather than later so that I can ship these goodies off to you.
Yeah, and we should also mention that Esther, our friend Esther, she was the recipient of the portable patchwork drawing. We did that after Pam's lecture the other day. So yeah, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and also like speaking of Pam's lecture, thank you so much to everybody that signed up and came or watched the replay or something. We had a really super awesome time. Like things went pretty darn well.
Yeah. When you don't have 8 places to turn on the mic, it goes pretty smoothly.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that went really well. And Pam was fantastic, and Pam had a great time, and we've gotten some great feedback from people. Yeah. And we plan to do it again. So if you have somebody that's offering a lecture that you maybe want to put them forward to be the next victim, let us know and we can reach out to them. But
we're pretty nice I would assume Pam would agree. We're pretty nice to our lecturers, our presenters.
Yeah, she's probably gonna be like, they tortured me, they tickled me, they made me listen to bad jokes. Like
all of that is true, but we also paid her on time and
and Jan said the lecture was really good. Thanks so much, Jamie.
Thank you so much.
With that, I'm assuming people want their assignment here.
Yeah.
For what to read. So we're going to start discussing this next week, the 22nd. So if by chance you don't already have Portable Patchwork. There's time to sneak in and get a copy of it. And if you want it last minute, you can still get one from Pam herself. She will autograph it for you by emailing pamela.weeks@gmail.com. And it is, let me put that in the chat for you. pamela.weeks@gmail.com. And it is $35, shipping included. And she will, if I can spell, she will autograph it for you. And as always, we're trying to support authors when we can and when they sell their own book and things like that. Did you have something else to add, Steph?
Well, what I can mention, one thing that came out of the lecture that I can share with everyone is Pam is always looking for more potholder quilts or quilt as you go quilts. So we coined a phrase. I think, in fact, it was Esther who coined this phrase.
No, it's in the book here. It's a Pam phrase.
Okay, well, Patchwork Posse, hashtag Patchwork Posse, or potholder posse. Thinking about t-shirts. So you guys are all, oh, you did you not put a link in there, Jill? Or
I did, but because it's me, it's got to be you.
Yeah, sorry. Can you send it or just email it to me?
It's just pamela.weeks@gmail.com.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Let me put that in there.
Sorry, Robin. Thank you.
I didn't know that it wouldn't let you do emails too. But anyway.
I thought it would just show up as text.
But what I was going to say is, you all are part of this potholder posse once you start reading the book. So, potholder posse, hashtag potholder posse. Tell your friends.
There's talk about t-shirts too.
I think Pam was all about that, so that's fun.
So, okay. So now for next week, for the 22nd, we're gonna start this book a little slowly, just because we have that weird break in there. This book is going to take us 1, 2, 3, 5 weeks, and then at the end of it on June 3rd, I'm pretty sure it's June 3rd. Hold on, let me just. Yes, June 3rd.
I'm like, it will be June already when we finish this book.
Yep. On June 3rd, we will have an author interview with Pam, where, you get to ask all your juicy questions. I know she's already got some very interesting stories to share with us about that, she was telling me about them. I'm like, no, save that. So we're going to start this off with the introduction in chapter 1, and that is page 8 through 21. 8 to 21.
Oh, that's an easy span of reading.
It's very easy. It'll give us a nice light segue. I was going to be more, and then when I was looking at breaking things up, there's some chapters that I know will take us longer to look through than others. So,
well, I'm very excited.
The last chapter is more of a how-to making. So I figured we actually probably won't read through that together. That might be more of a glance and pull out something interesting together.
Yeah, I actually have a quilt I have made using one of the methods, so I can pull that out. I mean, I don't know that it's the method that's probably like the least obvious that it's a potholder quilt, but I mean, I could show that because I think sometimes it's hard to imagine how it works when you want to hide seams and stuff, or hide the fact that you didn't piece it all together, and then sandwich it like a regular quilt. So yeah, I can show that, and it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things, like once you do it, it's hard to go back because life is so much easier, in my opinion, if you're dealing with a domestic machine, etc. If you've got a long arm or you have access to a long armor, I still think that's like the best way to get a quilt machine, machine quilted. But if you're dealing with a domestic machine, it is kind of nice to just be dealing with, a block at a time, and it's kind of addictive.
That's true. I have made, now that I think about it, I have made a placemat that was quilt as you go. There was a class that I took. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Stephanie and I have a lot of allergies coming back from the Midwest.
I was out in the wind today and I had to take some medication because I was like, I came back to my house and I was just sneezing and like I'm allergic to all trees. Trees need to settle down now.
They really do.
Yeah.
There's something else. All right. So we are continuing to show you things from Nebraska because we were realizing it's gonna take like probably like 4 shows to show you between all the things from Nebraska and then stuff from Iowa.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking of what we've got from Iowa and then okay, yeah.
Iowa's gonna be, I mean, that's probably gonna be longer than average anyways. So yeah, we're gonna continue with Nebraska because then we're gonna on the 29th there is going to be, we're not gonna leave you hanging. We're gonna do a recorded show for you to air, and it's gonna be more Nebraska stuff. Because we figured we'll just continue with the trend until we're done.
Huh?
You look confused.
It says sorry, photo can't be. Is that you?
Really?
Yeah, that's you.
What?
I don't know.
I don't know what that means because it's clearly sitting here open.
Yeah.
That's weird. The only thing, Stephanie, that I couldn't find in the moment that you probably have is the oh my God.
The placard for this one?
Yeah. Well, no, not the placard.
Oh.
The why am I having such a brain fart? The oh no, wait, I've got it. Hopefully it's gonna open. Did we change?
All I can see is this quilt that.
Darn it. Hold, please. Hashtag technology. Give me one sec here.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Are you talking about like the big placard of like what? Okay,
I found it.
Okay.
I found it.
I do have it. I didn't upload it, but I can if you need me to, or I can just read this. Do you want me to read it while you're?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So what we're going to look at first is called Rescued and Reimagined, Quilts by Joan White. And this was a pretty neat show. And I guess, is this like a permanent exhibit? I kind of feel like it's sort of a semi-permanent exhibit.
I didn't hear what the details were.
Yeah, it wasn't clear to me, but okay. So decades before the term upcycling was coined, I'm sorry, it's pronounced Joanne, even though she spells it Joanne. Okay, so that's there in the thing. So Joanne White was rescuing damaged textiles, including old clothes, worn quilts, feed sacks, and unused quilt blocks and scraps. She reimagined these fragments, beginning in the late 1980s, into contemporary pieces, showcasing the unique vintage fabrics she purchased at thrift stores, garage sales, or was gifted by friends. White's appreciation for historic fabrics was inspired by more than 30 years of cataloging textile and clothing items as a volunteer at the Elwood House Museum in DeKalb, Illinois. Joanne White grew up near Phillips, Nebraska, in Hamilton County. She learned to love textiles from a young age when she wore remade clothes and participated in 4-H. White earned a degree in home economics from the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, which they also have a wonderful textile quilt program. In 2011, White and her husband Wayne donated a number of the pieces from her collection to the International Quilt Museum for its education collection. Through the legacy of her quilts, her interaction with the museum going public continues, and her quilts continue to educate and inspire. So this was really cool to me because I also use old fabrics in my stuff and, in my work. And it was really fun looking at these because they do have such a, like they're traditional / contemporary in terms of like the patterns, but they do have this like modern aspect about them. They're all very small. So
at first when I was looking at them, I thought that they were cut from antique quilts. like when
Mm-hmm.
I saw from far away. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, were these people like cutting out something savable?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then was like, oh, no, that's not the case. Now, other than some of that intro placard, I don't know about you, Steph, but I kept myself pretty blind here. I
Yeah.
took pictures of the
Mm-hmm.
placards. I did not read them. I'm sounding really nasal now, so that you and I can discover together.
Yeah.
So,
Well, obviously,
this one,
I took a picture of the placard and never read it because I didn't realize her name was pronounced Joanne. So,
see, but that's the fun. And you guys, oh my God. I know I said this the last show. We really didn't get like the way that the whole weekend was planned. Hindsight's 2020. We didn't, as a group, really plan super well to give us time to actually go through the museum, like super sad face. Um, so we were trying to grab moments everywhere we could, and I was just going upstairs and like super quickly just trying to grab photos of things everywhere. I must have looked like a crazy person on the cameras. Because I'm literally not, I'm like anything that like looked dynamic out of the corner of my eye, I'm like running over to try to get a photo of, so I literally haven't really seen anything. So it really is that we're gonna do all of this together. So this one is sunflower. Original fabrics. Oh, this is made with antique fabrics. So original
mm-hmm.
fabrics, 1880 to 1900, constructed circa 1880. I'm sorry,
1980.
1980 to 2000. I'm getting so nasal right now. And then cotton hand piece, hand quilted. I also like the background of these placards that they look
Oh yeah, they're
like,
quilted. It's like the yeah.
yeah,
The background is like a white quilt.
yeah, it's a photo that they like super blurred out. Um, I didn't take, okay, so wait, I didn't take a million close-ups because they're so small. So we
Mm.
can zoom in
And what
here.
would
So
you
I
say?
actually,
Like most of these quilts were probably, I don't know, between like say 20, 30 inches. Like I think some of them might have been smaller. They don't have the
I would have,
sizes on the placards,
I
but
would have
like
called them, I would have called them like doll quilts.
yeah, they were definitely doll quilt size. They were not approaching baby quilt size. They were definitely not that big.
Yeah. But like, look at the, so like considering how small that is, um, like look at how, like, she's got some really great points on here for
Mm-hmm.
something that small. Like when you think of seeing full-size antique quilts with this kind of block, oftentimes we've lost some points, Like I
Yeah.
understand. I've never made this block and I'm sure it's really hard. But like keeping your points is hard. Keeping your points when it's really, really small.
Yeah, I've made a small, like, so this is a sunflower. I've made a small, it's really more of like a mariner's compass. And I did English paper piecing because that was the only way that I could figure it out, and because I was like, I will never make this right if I try and just piece it.
Hmm.
So I just ended up sort of English paper piecings, kind of.
This is also some really
So,
darling quilting in here.
yeah. And these fabrics are great.
I love
They're
too how she
fantastic.
cut this border print
Hmm.
to like have that sit in the center like that. Yeah, that's really, I mean, man, made with antique fabrics, that sounds like something to really annoy me because sometimes antique fabrics are not in great condition and you can literally like tear them in half.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes they're in surprisingly good condition considering
Yeah.
how old they are. Yeah. I mean, I
Hmm.
have a number of antique fabrics that now would I go like yanking on them or throwing them in the washer and dryer? No, I would not. But they're still pretty, pretty sturdy. So,
Here's
yeah.
another one in really the same pattern, but done differently. And she like offset the center panel here so that it's
Hmm.
um
Yeah. And this is, to me, like this is kind of the modern aspect of it that,
yeah, it's
um,
like improv.
yeah, not to say that a person in, historically might not have done this, but typically they're not gonna go really far outside the box unless they're some super duper creative thinker, which some of them are. Some of them definitely were. But
So
yeah,
she's
this one's almost got like a Japanese vibe to me because of those colors, those almost indigo
mhm.
colors. Yeah.
She's calling this one Wheel of Fortune. Again, we're dealing with antique fabrics here, 1890 to 1910, constructed 1980 to 2000, hand piece, hand quilted. And of course I was immediately like, oh, blues.
Yeah.
Gotta love my blues. But yeah, some of this, when I think of some of the modern Japanese quilts that I see that often focus heavily on blue, or like that denim-y looking blue.
Yeah.
If it's not even real denim sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is giving me, especially this
Yeah.
print right here,
Or
is giving
indigo.
me.
I mean, I really feel like it's, indigo, like Boro and Sashiko, like, they'll use a lot of indigo
Mhm.
type of fabrics. Yeah. That's what this reminds me
I
of.
love, and these like shirtings. I just, oh God, I know
Yeah.
you guys are so sick of hearing me talk about how much I love a shirting. Stephanie's like, we know.
Yeah. I cannot tell a lie. I love a shirting too. So,
Okay, so we read that. Okay, this one's so cute. Again, this was one that I was like, oh, maybe she cut something down.
mm-hmm.
And it's obviously all those antique fabrics that make me think, oh, this was cut down instead of being just pieced from antique fabrics. We've got 4-patch strippy and original fabrics 1870 to 1890 and constructed 1980 to 2000. I might have,
Alicia says, "Who doesn't love a shirting?" Yeah. If you
right?
don't, if you don't love shirtings, don't tell us.
Yeah, I actually thought you were gonna finish it with that. Like, if you don't love shirtings, we're not friends.
Yeah.
Like,
If you don't love shirtings, don't tell us because we don't want to have to kick you out. I'm just kidding.
I also wish, I really wish that they still made shirtings like that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
they just don't anymore. They just don't. And these are just like so adorable and cute and just I love them. I also really love browns of this era.
Oh, Jan said, "Hope you got to see the Nancy Crow student installation." I got to see like a little bit of it, and I think I took one or two pictures, but yeah, we were like just
You
flying through
know,
there.
I'm pretty sure that I got into all the galleries. I'm pretty sure, and took at least something from each one, a photo, not an item. So, but again, I could not even pay attention to what I was looking at. I just had to be like, blah, 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 like,
Yeah, I'm super bummed that there were two that I really wanted to go back in and look at more, and I didn't even get pictures of them. It was like a drive by.
oh, well, maybe you get lucky and I took pictures of them.
Yeah.
Because you guys, we also weren't in the gallery together at the same time.
Yeah,
Ooh,
we
I
tried
really,
to do a little bit of a divide and conquer, but
you were busy. You were doing something else. I don't remember what you were doing, but it wasn't something I was doing at that time. You could have been in the gift shop. I don't know.
oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I loved the quilting on this one.
Yeah, isn't it
It's
like little, like, they're sort of floral pattern,
yeah,
like
they
little
kind of
flowery
look
things?
they look like flowery slash like a rosette. Hold on. This is 4-patch on point. Also antique fabric, 1890 to 1910, and then made 1980 to 2000. Man, I'm gonna be a mess with all those centuries by the time we're done here. But yeah, this was just the
Oh,
quilting
gosh,
on
yes.
cute.
Was this one out in the hallway? I think I breezed right past this one and never even looked.
Maybe. I also again the way that she cuts, it's been every quilt so far. Like the way that
Hmm.
she cuts fabric to create the borders is very interesting. And also like this combination of like a cadet blue and like that like maroony kind of mm,
Yeah, that's
I,
got definitely got like that 1900
ooh,
vibe.
sorry about that. I hit the wrong thing. Yeah, it's so like just sweet.
Oh, look,
I
is that a
think
little, there's like there in the middle.
this
There's, yeah, that one block. Is that a conversation print or it's just a different print? It looks like kind of like horseshoes, but they might just be floral, like some floral.
yeah, I think it's just like a swirly do.
Okay.
Because it's
Jan,
also like right
totally
here.
agree. It is all amazing there. If only, like, I could have just lived there, you know?
Okay, so confession. Okay, before going, I would say to Carrie Dell, QSG's director, you I guess I have to come out there for the IQM because there's no other reason I'd ever be going to Lincoln, Nebraska. There's nothing going on there. I mean, I still kind of believe that. But after going there and spending time there, we spent quite a bit of time with Mary Kay Walvogel, who was telling us about other places in town actually that even has quilts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I know I've asked you to double check this now a couple of times. It was like the State House, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what she said.
Yeah, so like Mary Kay just sent me a text one day, like, hey, if you don't have anything to do today, go here and here and here and here and here. They've got quilts. And I'm literally I've got Carrie Dell in front of me and I'm going, all of these places have quilts? And she was just kind of like, oh, maybe. Like, so we also went out and had, I mean, I can't really complain about the food we had.
Yeah,
Like
the restaurants I ate at were fantastic.
Um,
I would say that the quilt game in Lincoln, Nebraska is pretty good.
yeah, pretty
You know,
decent.
it's they talk about Paducah being like the quilt capital of the US, but I would say the antique quilt capital might be, or vintage quilt capital
I agree.
might be
Paducah's
Lincoln.
probably the maker capital.
Hmm. But I would
Which,
say
which
Lincoln's game for historical quilts is it's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, so by the end, Stephanie and I were both like, "No, okay, I guess I'd come back."
I had never openly disparaged Lincoln, okay? So
You're right, just quietly.
having come from a small town and, my family's from small towns, I'm used to small towns. I like small
Well,
towns. So.
let me just also add that some people were feeling a little jaded just because it was such a nightmare for them to get there those particular days because of the weather and the flights and things like that. So it's one of those like if you're gonna have to put and remember I drove. So
Yeah.
if it's gonna be that much of a hassle, like it better be like worth it.
Yeah.
And we decided it was worth it. So
Yes, I was admittedly also very salty because I missed almost an entire day, which was really supposed to be my IQM day. I mean that was the problem. Mary Kay and I were going to go do a little bit of research and then, hit the museum, and
you
that
guys still did fit in your research.
we
Though.
did still fit in the research. But yeah, it like wiped out, a whole bunch of hours for us. So
Jan says Lincoln is a college town and a lot
Mhm.
of neat things go on there. The IQM has influenced quilters in Lincoln and Nebraska a lot. Yeah, it was a very cute town. It's probably what well, and maybe you too, Steph, would almost kind of consider city light. Like it's a city, it's
Mhm.
very clearly a
Mhm.
city. But like it's not a Boston kind of city
No.
or a
No.
DC kind of city.
Mm-mm.
It's what we on the East Coast would probably think of like as like a smaller city.
Mhm.
But that means
Yeah.
you're not sitting in traffic for 5 hours.
Exactly.
You can
Yeah.
actually get to things.
Mhm. Yep.
So
And
yes,
we drove right past Omaha, Jan, and yes, I like Nebraska. It's it was maybe a little different than I expected. I really you hear about the Plains states, and I think there was parts of Iowa where I was like, yep, this is exactly what I expected. Very flat and very windy. But yeah,
Oh my God,
I think
Iowa was
Nebraska
so-
was like a really pleasant surprise. I'm
Mhm.
very excited to go back there.
Yeah, Jan, I didn't know that you were in Omaha. Like you should have told us. Like,
Yeah.
well, plans for next time.
Yes, we'll just show up on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have told us.
Yeah. Hanging at Jan's house. Oh, I love this one.
This one's very pretty.
And this is one of those ones,
I think I
like
got a picture of this one too.
like you were saying, that felt very kind of modern slash like improv-y. I know I got an up close of this one too. But because the placards don't have like a ton of information on them, I won't run to that right away. We'll up close this first. Even like the quilting is it's simplistically beautiful.
Yeah, and with this one, can you pull in there tighter on the center
Mhm.
star, because I'm trying to figure out. So it's like a stripy fabric.
Oh my God, didn't it
Okay.
kind of remind you of like a tie, like when you look right here
Mm-hmm.
on the star?
Yeah, I'm just looking at how she constructed this, because she's using those kind of long pieces, she's not, I don't know if okay, yeah, my cursor will show. So like these pieces here, ordinarily those should, like this should be cut into 3 pieces. But because
I don't
she's
know.
using so like if she had constructed this like a traditional, star,
Mm-hmm.
these pieces should be cut just like these. They should be diamonds. But because she was going to use that same fabric there, she just used a long piece. Do you see what I mean?
No, but I think you're talking about like right here.
Yeah, like that. That should be 3
Mhm.
separate diamonds. But because she knew she was just wanted it to be one long stripe, she didn't piece it. She just made a long piece instead of 3 separate
So
diamonds.
this one piece is long, you mean, and should be
Uh-huh.
3 pieces?
Right. And then
Like how these right here are 3
mhm,
pieces?
exactly. And you go to the next one, you can see that one in the right here. If you can see that, that one should be 2 pieces. And
Mm-hmm.
then this one should be 3 pieces. I'm going counterclockwise. Then this one should
Mm-hmm.
be 2 pieces. Yeah. I like how she did that. That's very, that's like a modern kind of. I mean, I think she's hand piecing all of these, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of thing that, you know, historically I've seen. Like, if you think about the quilts that are, what we call those pixelated quilts, or sometimes they're called cross stitch quilts, but, they're just made up of all the little blocks. Anne Orr made them. Emma Andres made the one with the woman at the spinning wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have like a space that's like all white or all one color, they still make it out of all those little squares, right? That's kind of historically how they did it. But today, and I specifically am thinking of Elizabeth Hartman, her quilts. She makes the ones with all the cute animals.
Mm-hmm.
Her directions would say, like, she kind of cuts everything into a grid. And then I've actually taken a class with her. And then anything where she's got like a span of the same color,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to cut individual squares and piece them. You're just going to create that long piece and build, around it, with other pieces that may be single blocks, or they may be, or she does the corner flip thing. All of the kind of modern, like, I don't know, shortcuts that we enjoy. So it's looking at this quilt, if you didn't know that it was new, made contemporary, I could see looking at it going like, oh wow, like this person was really forward thinking. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they did not piece this the way that it ordinarily would have been pieced. So, but
And
knowing that she is a modern quilt, or a contemporary quilt maker, she's obviously employed some techniques that that we would just consider normal today.
for someone who keeps talking about trying my hand at hand piecing, these kinds of things are the things I could see myself
Mm-hmm.
trying. Like half me's like, I kind of want to make her quilt.
Yeah, and actually the stars, just the little stars on the corners, those are actually very easy to do English paper piecing. Is English paper piecing.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
have papers for those.
And my guess is, I mean, of course I don't know for sure, but my guess is, because she's got those little floating diamonds, at the top and the side, and then the ones on the corner.
They look appliqued to me.
I could see her maybe cutting a template and doing those like English paper piecing style. They're definitely
Oh.
applique on, yeah. And I would venture to guess, yeah, I think that whole star in the center is applique on.
Yeah, I think
There's
so
no
too.
piecing there, yeah.
Well, let us look at the plaque.
Yeah, Robin, I agree. Like the way those stripes, I mean, she intentionally chose the stripes and the orientation she did, and it gives it that like.
And she definitely
Movement.
hand applique.
Yep.
So what's interesting here is that it doesn't also say hand pieced. It just says hand applique, hand quilted.
Maybe it's all applique. I'm finding that Florence Pito did a lot more appliquing than you think she did in her quilts. She literally did no piecing. So
See, I got another photo. And this one shows different light. So do you think what do you think?
um
This right here looks like that V
mhm.
that you get with hand piecing. Maybe they just forgot to put the piecing
Yeah,
part
or
on.
maybe there's just not room for that in the placard template.
But yeah, I definitely things are looking, yeah, applique down. This was one of my favorites for sure. Oh, so is this one.
Oh, I missed
Yeah,
this one. I don't remember even
half of
seeing
me
that.
is really like, you know how we know some people that have taken a historical maker and remade literally like every quilt they've made
Hmm.
that's like known. I'm feeling this way about Joanne here. I'm like, not that this is like every quilt known, but like just like in this series, I'm like, I kind of want to make all of them. It's a new quilt along.
Yeah, this one is really cool. Split rail.
hmm And again, with the way she's like doing that border,
And
also
this
like
looks like some of the same fabrics, maybe like that
oh yeah,
cranberry
the
color.
cadet blue,
Yeah,
yeah,
that. Uh huh.
hmm and like morning print, and then we go straight up into black.
Hmm. That's the
Let's
beautiful thing about getting if you get a little treasure trove of fabrics. And I mean these are antique fabrics. I only have a handful of antiques. I would never cut into them because they're too precious. I don't have enough of them. But all of my vintage fabrics, from I would say as early as like the I have a few from the 30s and 40s, like some feed sack stuff. You really don't need a lot if you're going to make these small studies. I mean, I would call these studies, like they're quilted studies,
mm-hmm.
and you really don't need very much to make like really impactful things if you have a little, like a little treasure trove of fabrics.
Well, and something like this in this size, um, would be great for experimenting with making your
Hmm.
own batting.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I still need
And
to bind my I made the batting in this quilt.
and look at this cute like little just like leaf motif. Like well, it looks like a leaf here, but then in this block it kind of looks like a great white shark. Like here's the mouth and like here's the eye. You see it. Like
Yeah,
um
well, yeah, I guess
but then
so.
like but then like here it looks like a leaf again. Like but
Hmm.
that's just such a cute little like and then she just kind of did some like, outline here, something simple
Yeah, and
here.
that border fabric, like I want to say, is that kind of like that ombre fabric? Like
Yeah, it's
I
looking
think
pretty
it is.
ombre or
It's
something.
yeah. That fabric always gets me every time because what is that? 18. Well, what do you have the placard for this one that would tell us? Oh,
1890.
1890. See,
Yeah.
I would have thought some of those ombres. Well, and maybe it's the different color. I feel like those like blue and buff ones, those are much earlier.
Oh, and this one she machine pieced. I'm surprised. Although I will say, all those teeny little rail fence on the
Yeah.
bias, like
Yeah,
those
those
would be
teeny little.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, half of me is like, wow, machine piece, I could finish that in 15 minutes.
You
Because you
think
know
you
something,
could.
if you when you look at it, like see right here with this block and this block, they're the same.
Hmm.
She did it in sections and then just subcut.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's what makes the most sense is at least if you can get a few blocks out of one,
Mm-hmm.
one piecing.
Yeah.
But, I guess I think it really depends on like how big of pieces she's working with cuz, if you've got small scraps, you wouldn't be able to do those like long and cut them up.
Mm-hmm. Ugh.
This one's really neat.
I forget. Did it say or did someone tell us is she still with us or no?
I'm not sure. It didn't say.
Okay.
Um yeah, I can look it up while you talk about this one cuz
Okay. This one, it's interesting because these blocks in the corner here, they look kind of orphany to me. They're totally different colors in the center blocks. They just they look like they're supposed to look misplaced. That if I didn't know that this woman likes to, use antique fabrics and like do studies, like you'd said, I would automatically think that potentially they were orphan blocks that were antique, that were incorporated into something later. And let's look at the placard here. I don't think that's the case now. Let's see. So yeah, original fabrics 1860 to 1900 and hand pieced, hand quilted. And she made it in her, 1980 to 2000. Um, yeah, that's just bananas. 1860.
I
Oh
know.
my God.
Well, unfortunately, there are many Joan or Joanne Whites who are quilt adjacent, so I'm struggling here. I think maybe I'm not sure if I have the right person. So, um I'm going to say she's still with us. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
I frequently get these things wrong, but
The quilting on this is so darling and done, in like a white, or silver or something kind of thread
mhm.
that makes it really like kapoom. Now, I'm curious. This motif reminds me of some of the stenciling stuff my mom used to do in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Where I don't know if your mom got into this, but it was a stencil which you could obviously use for quilting. Any stencil really could use for quilting. But she'd have this stencil and it was like a big deal to like use the stencil for painting
Mhm.
with that like French country kind of look to it.
Yeah, my mom did stencils in the 80s. By the 90s, she had come around sort of to more of a shabby chic look. But yeah, so the 80s, we had like, I don't know, ducks or something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. There were a lot of ducks, right? There were a lot of hearts.
we had
I should
cats.
I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really should dig out like one of the things that my mom stenciled on where it's so funny before it became like this like super duper fad to bring your own bags to the grocery store. Uh she had bought these like nice white canvas bags and stenciled on them like these heart things and whatever,
Okay.
kind of like mauve colors and green. My whole bedroom was mauve growing up. She never used the canvas bags ever. It was the thought that counted. Like she had intent. But the nice thing is I still have them. They're very nice bags. But yeah, like this kind of stencil reminds me of that. And this quilt is circa 1980 to
Mm-hmm.
2000.
Yeah,
So
so
I'm
she
really wondering
definitely,
if that's where those
yeah,
came from.
in that 20-year span, I could definitely see some stencils.
I
And you
really
know,
like
it's
these
so funny to
lovely.
think about that 1980 to 2000. It's only 20 years, but how things changed both, in the world, but also just like the fads or the colors, the things that we were, into. And I think the entire 20th century is like that. It's like every decade's kind of got a different vibe to it, and obviously the different colors that you have to look at on fabric and figure out which color goes with which era. I'm still struggling with that.
I think that's one of those things that like takes just a long time. Oh,
Yes,
and I did get a
indeed.
close up.
It does.
Yeah, this little like this plaid type-ish print
Yeah, I
was
think
so
this is interesting also how she did that. She didn't completely, it's only on the two sides of the block. I think
well,
that's
that and
interesting.
this one fabric here matches the center block, not
Hmm.
where all these other half square triangles are a different fabric.
Yeah.
Did she do that with every one of those or just nope, just that one.
Hmm.
All the other ones completely match. So she must have been like, darn, I can't find that one other triangle that I cut. And then as soon as she completed the quilt, she found the missing
Oh, exactly.
triangle.
I did that literally just the other day. I had all my little pieces, and somehow I dropped one, and so I had to cut another one out, and I appliqued it on, and then no sooner was I done than I was like, oh, there it is. There's the piece. Okay,
This
so
was
this
another
this one I did take a picture of myself.
oh, well,
So
we don't need yours. Um,
obviously.
this is another one that I first was like, oh my God, she must have just cut this out of like a crazy quilt. But nope, she made her own here. I mean, this one looks, I mean, that's gotta be, it looks like corduroy kind of on the edge here. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. Or some kind of textured. It just says
Oh, it
wool.
doesn't.
So
Oh.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um hand
1880
pieced
to
and hand
19.
tied, but I'm thinking she must have, unless she found pieces that had that embroidery, she must have done that embroidery too.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess that she did that embroidery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah, each of those blocks is really nice, and then I just, I love the way she put them together.
Mm-hmm. Another one.
Yeah, I think we both got all the fans.
Yeah, another 1880 to 1920. Wool.
Mhm.
On a close up. Was that? Not a close up. No, this one's just its own thing. Sorry, I thought it was close up. No, it's just
Yep,
this one
yep.
thing. So she had a little like series here for this
Mm-hmm.
one. We grandmother's fan wheel setting.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, because the fans are turned in, so.
This one's so cute. Look at this quilting. Goodness.
Yeah, this one had a pretty floral
Hefty
kind of
quilting.
thing going on. Yeah.
I didn't even notice. Look, she's like quilted flying geese
Yep.
in here. And like these flower, like this one's so darling.
Can you get in there a little bit closer? Is it a double pink in there? The center.
Yep.
Yep. That's one of my favorite double pinks.
1890 to 1900. Cotton hand pieced, hand quilted. That is it for mine.
Okay.
It's time for yours, dear.
Let me pull mine up.
I was gonna say there can't be that many more, but it was a decent sized exhibit.
Well, yeah, it was, and I think we've got a little bit of overlap too. So, all right. Let me see.
Good. So some of yours we don't even need to look at.
All right. So, how am I going to do this? Let me do this. Share that, and then bring that over there. Okay. So this obviously is what you have just seen, the grandmother's fan wheel setting. But I thought it was interesting, these little doodads here. And I think that looks like original. That looks like these could possibly be original blocks, maybe. And this is maybe some original embroidery or something.
Like a, I was going to say, do you think it's like hand embroidered on there? Or no, I think it's cut from the side there.
Yeah,
See
I'm really not sure.
It really
it's
looks
really
like
kind of hard to tell.
a piece. It looks like a piece of the, what do you think that is, lace or something on the side of the block on the border?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of like a ribbon, like a brocade ribbon. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's almost like a brocade ribbon.
It looks like it got cut out from it or something.
Okay, so yeah, it's not embroidery. It's cut from this. I didn't even realize that. Duh.
I didn't either.
So I'm glad we looked at that again. Okay. So then I had this one too. And that one. I still love this. Yeah, I just followed you and took pictures of everything you took pictures of.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just weren't paying any attention to where my butt was
now
going.
here's what's interesting, because my I think my phone picked up some different details than yours did. So this looks like a striped suiting right here.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then notice these. I didn't notice this on your picture, and it just could be my screen literally. But look, these two are brown, and these two are black.
Yeah, I definitely didn't notice
that didn't show up very well. So
whether it showed up well or not, I did not notice. Even right here, if you hadn't pointed it out, I probably wouldn't have noticed.
So the bow tie. Look at this one. I mean, from a distance, this looks very modern to me, or like contemporary. I don't want to say modern because these are not modern quilts. They're contemporary quilts. But once you get up close, you realize like, oh my God, no, these are very old fabrics. So I really loved this one. And I almost feel like, and of course I haven't read the placard, but I almost feel like some of these look like neckties, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm wondering,
or actual quote bow ties.
Yeah. And I'm kind of wondering, let's see. Come on now.
The binding fabric on there looks really modern to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is called Bow Tie. Original fabric circa 1940 to 1950. Constructed 1980 to 2000. Silk,
All right, so
hand
these ones
pieced, and
aren't as
hand
old.
tied. I'm sorry?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
silk.
said so these aren't as old. The fabrics.
Yeah,
aren't
these
as
are
old.
not as old, but these are silk, so that tells me that
Mm-hmm.
these are from neckties.
Mm-hmm.
And then this fabric along the edge, to me, that looks like a 1950s kind of or 1960s kind of fabric. But yeah, look at this. These are definitely from ties. You can see that is definitely a necktie.
So far, the binding I almost thought was a batik.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of. Oh, and look at this. These are all of the little things from the ties.
Oh yeah, that's so cute.
Did she just do that in the one corner? Let's see.
I feel like the top corner might have had one too, the top left or something.
Yeah, okay, so it's the opposing corners she did that with. Oh, that is so neat. Yeah, you can see innovation. Oh, look at that. Made in Italy. Very cool.
I really wish they had said that on the placards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there is also kind of the expectation that you're gonna lean in there and, you know.
I know way too many people that don't.
Well, this is true. Okay, so these you also took pictures of. I got a sort of a different, and they're interesting together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you immediately you see, like the block itself, you recognize it, but then how these represent differently.
Oh yeah, they look completely different.
So this one you took a picture of, but this one, let's see if I have a straight on of it. No. Yep. Here we go. This one, look at the quilting, the echo quilting on this. So, so let me look and see the placard. I didn't upload my placards. I knew I'd read them from here. Okay. So this is Hearts Applique. Original fabrics, 1880 to 1920. Cotton, hand appliqued and hand quilted. So while I realize that this is like a paper cut design, I would assume maybe she cut it herself. You know, we see paper cut designs in Pennsylvania quilts. And I think there was some New York quilts that we saw in Tarrytown in Sharon Waddell's collection. And oh gosh, I can't remember the other. It was Sharon and oh, why can't I think of the other lady's name?
Was the other woman Carol? Was it Carol?
Maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, at least one or two of their quilts were definitely paper cut quilts. So, you know, East Coast, maybe New England / Mid Atlantic. But also the obvious is Hawaiian quilts use this paper cutting. Now they would not have used hearts unless it was a modern design. Like, you know, their designs were really focused on like the flora and fauna of Hawaii, but they used this echo quilting is ubiquitous with the Hawaiian quilts. Whereas I don't know that I see that echo quilting necessarily like in Pennsylvania or East Coast paper cuttings. I feel like the ones I've seen, the older ones, you know, they're more of a traditional like quilting patterns.
You know, I recently bought a paper cut quilt in an auction, if you recall.
Yes.
And
I do not remember at all how it was quilted, but I don't think it was this dense echo quilting, was it?
No, I don't. I'm trying to see if I can pull up a picture of it real quick.
Well, while you're doing that, this one also appears to have either some piping or a little flange or something, and I think it might be, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell what it is. I'll get in there really close. I mean, it's black, whatever it is, but maybe it's just a little flange. But yeah, so that would have been added in when she did the binding. Trapping that in the binding.
I cannot easily find mine, but no,
Are you talking about that red and the one that's like red and like a kind of a
greenish
toothpastey
blue.
green? It's like a Colgate or Crest green.
Yeah, I
I,
don't
I
think that had echo quilting like
yeah,
that.
I don't think so either. And I mean with this one, it's very very obvious.
Hmm.
I thought this one was fun. Um,
Yeah.
just the way she used these.
This one makes me think of very much like well, we were just talking about those like that like 90s mob feeling.
Yes,
This
this
would
pink.
have been right
Yeah.
at home in my bedroom as a
Yes,
child.
that dusty rose. Yes, I
Hmm.
I had like colonial blue curtains with a dusty rose bedspread. Ugh.
Not even my curtains were the dusty rose, and so was the carpet.
Yeah, well, my parents had hardwood floors, so I never had like a wall to wall in there. But this is interesting because when I looked at this, I thought that these were multiple fabrics in here. There's only
Hmm.
two different pieces of fabric in this. There's only two colors. There's the plain white and then this print.
Hmm.
And it's just, I think, oh, actually, this isn't plain white. It's also a print. I think it's just the direction I took the picture from and the
Hmm.
way that the light falls on these as
Hmm.
you pull back, you get these shadows that make these look like different colors. And I
Yeah.
think it makes this look, I mean, forget about the outside. This middle part, that becomes a modern quilt for me. Like,
Yeah.
you're playing with space and shapes and stuff. And
Hmm.
then it brings it all back, to something historical with this very historical swag border.
Hmm.
And I love it. I love a scallop. Scallop borders are my jam.
And what's the placard for this
Oh,
one?
I'm sorry. This is a pinwheel variation.
Hmm.
Original fabrics 1890 to 1900.
Robin says, I
Hand
think the
piece.
quilting makes it look like different colors.
Yes, it is. This one. I think I like the quilting in this one. Look at these quilting designs.
Yeah, this one's nice, and
This is just simple and classic.
Mm-hmm.
And the quilting
Let's
is
see.
crazy.
Yeah, and this is really an interesting design. And I mean, I think that kind of seems to me like a design that I don't know that I've never ever seen anything specifically like this, but it seems to be a kind of like a quilting design that was made to go in a square, you know, um, specifically like this.
Hmm.
So yeah, this seems to be like, I don't know, like very traditional looking to me.
Hmm. Another one where I
Um,
would have thought that she just found 5 orphan blocks
yep,
and put them together.
yep. Shoot, I lost my place. Okay, this one is Ohio Star. The fabrics are 1890 to 1910. Hand pieced, hand quilted. I wonder if because like there was the one that you saw that was machine. I'm wondering if there was a certain point where she switched or if it's just random, like how she constructed.
Hmm.
Now this one's fun because I don't know, the colors just really.
Yep, another one that made me think it was a cut up antique quilt that we were just trying to save what was still good.
Hmm.
Those little squares have to be pretty small too.
Yeah, these you mean? Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Gosh, I wish they had the dimensions on these just so that you could kind of do the math. Like, because I can't remember exactly how big. I think this one was, I think, a little bit bigger, if I remember correctly. So it's a double nine patch. Let's see. Fabrics are 1870 to 1890. Hand pieced, hand quilted. I love this green.
And it's just some nice straight line sewing, quilting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it is. It's just straight lines. Yeah, this pink and green I really like.
Mm-hmm.
This one's fun. This is, what I think is also interesting. I'm wondering in some cases some of this might have already been pieced because look at this stain. The stain goes over more than just a piece of fabric. So I'm wondering in this case these might be blocks that were already constructed because it did say, the write up did say. This is pinwheel variation. Fabrics are 1880 to 1920.
oh, okay. So then we really could
Be dealing with orphan blocks just
Could
completed
be.
later.
Yeah, in some cases I think could be. And that tells me that at least with this quilt that's seems to be a possibility because of that stain.
I really like that red print with like what is that like silvery print on it? Is it like a leaf?
Oh, this up here?
Yeah, the red.
Yeah, it's like a leaf and then there's these little
Oh no, up yeah, above it, the dark. Yeah, yeah, that one.
yeah.
It was interesting from far away. The leaf almost looked like a walnut or a thimble or something.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like a gray, like
And
and
with
then
a
I guess
shirting.
yeah, this would be a morning print, right? Would you say
I
or no?
I can't.
Maybe this is more of a brown.
It looks kind of browny, but you know
Yeah,
something with the lighting, maybe
it's
it's
hard to
not.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah. If it is that kind of gray, then yeah. But it just looks like
I
it
think you're
could
right.
be
It's a
brown.
little bit brown. Yeah. All right. Oh, this one is so fun. These little blades remind me of the Dear Jane quilt.
Oh yeah, this one was cool. This for me is very contemporary.
Yes, it is. But also, if you've seen the Dear Jane quilt, these triangles, these little blades have
Oh.
that that look, and that's a quilt that's a very old quilt.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I think from a distance, it's got a lot of movement. It's got a lot, and then once you get up in here, you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I mean the
um,
quilting in the blank spaces is pretty intense.
yeah, and oh yeah, yeah, and this is a very pretty design. I feel like I've seen this design before, in a number of quilts that sort of, I don't know what you would call it. They're almost like a little, I don't know. It's like a little tulipy kind of thing, and then you've got these sort of little sprigs that come out of the sides.
Hmm.
Um, and also, if you looked at these, like, so some of these look like almost like trees, you know.
Hmm.
This one almost looks like a teepee or something, and then the other ones, I feel like they're very just abstract, like this one's a heart, but so yeah. And I have such curiosity about this, like, were those pieced already and she put them together, or did she piece those? Like, I just have a million questions about this one.
Again, what a wonderful thing would come from more involved placards.
Wow. And then I think that might be my last one. Let's see.
What did the placard say for this one?
Star Variation. Um, 1900 to 1910 are the fabrics.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
And that is my last one. And then let me see if I'm not sure if this other I think that this is not the Nancy Crow thing. So I have a couple of other pictures that I can share another
Oh,
time.
I was gonna say you have to save those because I still have a bunch of gallery pictures from
Yeah.
other things. So I guess to give a little just recap, if you were in here late, because of our lurkers, our giveaway winners tonight, for giveaway 1 was Marianne S, and for giveaway 2 was Jill M, and you're gonna get an email asking for your address and such. Um, we've given out the first assignment here, portable patchwork, because we're gonna discuss it next week. And our first assignment here is the intro and chapter 1, which is page 8 through 21.
21.
Yeah, we're starting off a little slow. That's okay. And
I like an
definitely,
easy start. Just ease
yeah.
back into the book.
Mhm. Well, and for anyone that had signed up to be at Pam's lecture on Saturday, if you couldn't make it, you want to watch the replay that
Mhm.
you should have an email for, and if you don't, let us know. And that's going to be your little great segue into getting going with the book. Hi,
Yeah, for sure.
Arlene.
Hey, Arlene. I'm going to see
And then
Arlene very soon.
you poor thing. take pictures.
I will. I'll do
I
a
was gonna
better
say, I
job.
don't.
Last year I took
Yeah,
like
you.
5 pictures.
Yeah, like no, Arlene, you heard it here, okay? That Stephanie is supposed to be taking pictures with friends and things like
I'll
that.
do my best. I'll do my best.
Well, and with that, I'm gonna go get another drink because I'm a fish apparently and didn't have enough drink.
And
I was like
I'm gonna
rushing.
finish this bowl of dinner.
And I'm gonna get to reading. I miss reading. It's been a minute.
Oh, Arlene said that you were halfway there when you were in Nebraska, which is true.
That's true. That's true. Arlene, I'm sorry. I know there was a last minute opening. It's just it's so far and I don't like to fly. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't like it.
But if she plans well enough advance, she will drive to China. I mean,
That's true. If I give myself like 2 weeks to get out there, I will.
there's always next year.
Yeah, who knows? All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, yeah, everybody, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Mwah,
Bye.
mwah.